Hello, so today we're back. Took a little bit of a break just doing stuff, New Year's and stuff. Hopefully you guys had a good New Year's. Happy New Year's, everybody. But basically, this is going to be a Yunara game. Now, this game, make sure to like and subscribe, first of all. Make sure check if you're liked and subscribed, because you might not be, and it helps me out. But anyways, this game is going to be talking a lot about contesting other players and finding win conditions. I think it's a really great example. I'm going to VOD review it and go through it step by step. I'm doing the commentary post, obviously, so I know what happens and I can talk about it a little bit. But anyways, in this game, I'm going to talk a little bit about griefing, contesting, and all of that other stuff. But anyways, let's get straight into it. It's Tom Kenshin counter, which means it's going to be excess gold. So, you know, you might want to take some other augments because it's going to generate you gold via that. But either way, should be fine. I start the game off with a duplicator, which is nice. I can always use that duplicator into some lines that are common with duplicators. Obviously, reroll Trend. Obviously, Leona to unlock Diana. So when you see a duplicator, that should be like alarm bells to do that type of stuff. Excuse me. This game, however, Ionia is also particularly good, which means that like either you want XP Ionia because it helps you to level, or you want to have what's it called XP or gold. The gold generation one I prefer because basically with the gold generation you kind of scale infinitely, and it feels like the scaling is really good. Basically every 3 kills you get a gold, which helps you to level and stuff. But then additionally, that extra gold that you generate gives you extra stats. So if you have Ionia in early, you can just generate a huge amount of stats and be really powerful. So here, I have a couple options. So Clear Mind obviously is econ, but I don't like it that much. I always mention it. Sometimes I put Clear Mind at the same time as Cluttered Mind. Clear Mind because you have to clear your bench. A lot of times it forces you to be in worse boards or to lose streak because you can't hold on to a lot of units or unit pairs to make your board particularly strong. So I don't like it that much. Birthday Reunion, it's gold sub, so it's a little bit better because you should have enough gold to get to those levels. Here I'm scouting to see how much gold people are getting from their from gold sub. It looks like it's around 4 gold. But either way, I'm also scouting to see what other people are playing because I can make a little bit of a better decision. Additionally, I'm checking out different people's boards because one of the common things you can do this patch, Stars Are Born, you play this into T-Hex basically. You take Stars Are Born and you buy a Caitlyn. That gives you 3 copies of Caitlyn. And then on your roll down, it also starts you off with a lot of gold. And then you can also use the other 2 costs. If you're lucky enough, you also hit a Vi, and then you have 2 of the unlocks to basically get the T-Hex. Like that's a common line that you can take. But also you can always play in the normal way of just using it for either reroll or tempo. So I like it no matter what. So I take this. Now you're going to see a little bit of indecisiveness here because I'm trying to scout and figure out. Okay, it looks like it was 6 gold. I miscounted. But basically, I want to play ideally Ionia because the Ionia is good. So something I can do is I can buy the Shen and the Jinzhao and kind of go for it. This was a little bit, you know, bad time of day for me, so I was a little bit slow in making my decision here. I definitely should have just went for Ionia here, in my opinion, because that's what I end up doing anyways. And if you're going to make the decision later, you might as well make it at the beginning. So when I took Stars Are Born, I was basically open to anything. I was like, if I see Ionias, I'll buy Ionias. If I see other things, I'll buy other things, right? If I could play around Leona, like a lot of times when you take Stars Are Born, you can actually do a roll down, and then if you don't see any Caitlyn's on your roll down, or if you get really unlucky with Caitlyn's, you can just pivot into playing Leona, right? Because you're going to roll before the carousel, so then you know, do I take Glove Sword on carousel to make IE for T-Hex, or do I take bows to make items for Diana with Leona unlocked? But anyways, here, eventually I just decide at the end of this round, I'm like, I don't want to go down the whole lose streak into all of that shit. Because I do have items that are okay for, like, you know, I can make a Kraken or I can make a Titan. So I was like, you know what, I'll just make the Kraken and I'll just play towards Gold Ionia. Because I have a decent opener, right? I have a lot of upgrades. And from scouting around the lobby, I can definitely win a lot of these rounds. Now, obviously, I lost the first round because of my indecision. If we want to take a notes right off rip, I think this is the biggest mistake of the game. So it's nice to get it out of the way early. But you should be very decisive. Even if it's the wrong decision, making a decision and having a plan is way better than being like, maybe I'll do this. It's like, no, it's like, even if you're gonna flex, I made a flex guide on the main channel. You want to have like, I'm flexing between A and B. You want to have a clear decision making because that's going to save you a lot of HP, and usually that's what's going to put you in a good spot. So basically here what I say to myself is I can win streak, right? And what do I do for win streak? So I want to play obviously around Ionia, because Yunara is going to be my carry for later in the game. And if I can't play Yunara, I can maybe tempo and play some of the 5 costs, but they all use similar items, right? If I'm playing like Kindred carry, for example. So I make Kraken. I use the duplicator, by the way. I'm not going for Yasuo 3. I think that Yasuo 3 in certain cases is okay. Maybe if I saw a Yasuo in my shop with the duplicator, I would have gone, like, you know, instead of the Xin Zhao, I could have greeted and maybe go for Yasuo 3 and play that. But I just don't believe in it that well unless you have like a really clear spot for it, like really good items and stuff like that. You can argue that I could have played Yasuo reroll here. I just don't think it's worth it. I've played it. I actually played Yasuo reroll a couple times, and I've top 4 with it a couple times as well. I got the little check mark for Yone on my lore finder or whatever, like that I won with him. But now I'm rescouting, and we're seeing a lot of players look like they're angling towards Ionia. So originally I was skeptical of playing around T-Hex because there was one of the players that had a bunch of Caitlyn's on their bench, and I think now they pivoted into Ionia. So originally I thought it was just going to be 3 people playing Ionia, which is like sometimes okay. It's just a matter of like managing econ. But I figured with this line I have more outs, like I can play around more carries, but I can even play a Draven in my mid game if I want. But either way, I'm generating econ because of Ionia here, so I'm happy, right? So there's that line, or I could have played like, you know, something else. But the Caitlyn I was just scared of because I'm like, if I'm contested on Caitlyn, that's like the worst case scenario, so I don't want to go Stars Are Born into Caitlyn into T-Hex. That was the only one that I was like really skeptical of. So I ended up deciding on Ionia. That's like my thought process, at least, or what I was thinking of all of that time. That's why it took me so long and I fucked up my first round. But either way, lesser dupe, my whole board is upgraded, really strong, and because it's gold Ionia, not XP Ionia, XP Ionia is also fine, but gold Ionia, you get a lot of value for being strong, because that goes to the trait. I am now getting stats that will be good on my Yunara later. Every single takedown that I get, every 3 takedowns I earn a gold. Every gold that I earn, I get an extra percentage stat. I don't know if the scaling is right, by the way, because at the end of the game, I felt like I should have gotten way more stats, but maybe it's just like whatever. Maybe I just fucked up somewhere, like with my math. But the idea is that I'm making the rest of my board strong. That's why the gold Ionia is so strong. Because like right now, right, if you check the Ionia trait, every gold that I generate, it helps me to level, it helps me to make econ thresholds, it helps me to get stronger in the future. But I'm also scaling like in the future, right? I'm getting gold that helps me to make it to the point that I can afford my board, but I'm also making my unit stronger by generating that gold. So having an opener like this, that's why I was saying Stars Are Born into Ionia or something like this, if it's a good Ionia, is really good. Because now I'm just winning with this dude. And look at my board. My board is a huge threat. Right, I have a Kiana 2, which is already great. This is an insanely high roll. And I'm just eating everybody for lunch. Look at this guy. GG, good night. All 1-star frontline, couldn't be me. And look at that, generate a gold. Yippee, +1 stats. It's broken, it's insanely good. So you should always angle something like this. Now the problem is, a lot of people know this, right? A lot of the other players in the lobby are doing the same thing as me. They're also angling towards Ionia with the same game plan and same intention. They generate gold, they generate the stats for later, and they play around Yunara late game. So that's what it is. So we know we're going to be contested. Now, obviously, I can try and pivot out, and I can try and play something else. That will be dependent on augments. It'll be dependent on other units. Here, you know, if I wanted to, I should maybe hold either Vayne or Draven. But I think I saw a Vayne player. I forget if it's this game or another one, because I played so many games over the last couple days over New Year's. But I don't want to grief my econ. So, yeah, I think I saw a Demacia player. Yeah, this guy took Darkened Bow. So I was like, I don't know what he's playing. But I think I saw somebody playing some Demacia. This guy looks like he's playing Ionia, but I know he's weaker than me, so I'm not concerned. I forget who it was. Maybe I'm just mistaken. Because Vayne is a great out here. Because Vayne obviously loves Kraken, and I already have the Xin Zhao, so I have a bit of a Demacia board. I can easily pivot these into a Vayne spot if I really wanted to. So I should definitely consider the Vayne. Draven's a little bit harder to pivot into, because unless it's a Draven 2-star, it's a little bit awkward. So you want to really like high roll 1 or 2 copies of that unit. But either way, I'm making 40 gold here, and I don't want to sell the Ahri to hold on to the Draven. Because I think I'm strong enough as is, and I can just play Ionia into later in the game. But Draven's another out, right? If you see Draven and you don't have an upgraded board, you can pivot into that, and he's really strong. Here I'm just getting teased with the Vaynes, by the way. But you should all obviously consider Vayne. It's just because it costs me econ, right? I want to hold the Ahri so I can play more Ionia, because she's going to be really strong. I find her a really reliable late game unit. I put the Ionias in my team plan just so I don't forget about them. It also helps with the tracking. So like I can see like if I'm unlocking Set or if I'm unlocking Kennen and stuff like that. But Vayne something you can hold on to. I'd be surprised if I didn't buy it here. I'd probably buy it now unless I don't see items that are good for her. I want to hold R repair. Yeah, I should sell this. I should buy Vayne here. Do I buy Vayne? I don't buy Vayne. Oh, I slammed items instead. Okay, I should have bought Vayne here. That's another mistake. Because if I just high roll another Vayne or another 2 copies, it doesn't cost me any econ to hold the Vayne this turn. Right? So I should have definitely considered it. Anyways, it is gold sub, so everybody's really rich. There's a trend player, so that's going to be scary later. This guy's definitely playing Ionia because he slammed IE with double Gwinsu, so there's not going to be much other things he can play. I think there's 2 other Ionia players. It ends up being a 4-way contest in this game. But anyways, we just level. Like I said, you should still look for outs, by the way. This game I end up going into the 4-way contest, but that's because I end up having an insane spot, which we'll see in the next Augment selection, basically. But for a lot of these fights, I am strongest. This is what I would consider my strongest board. I have Ionia and I have Slayer. Always a great +1. You know, obviously you can play a Warden if you had a Warden. Obviously, I could have played Vayne instead, but I don't think she's going to be stronger than the Yasuo 2. Especially with these items. IE also isn't that great on Vayne, so if I was playing Vayne, I wouldn't be able to slam I. Maybe that's why I didn't hold Vayne, actually. With the items I got dropped, if I wanted to play Vayne, I would have had to make DB. I would have had to make Deathblade. But then I would have to commit to Vayne. So IE gives me more outs because I think I'm more flexible with IE, but maybe that's just fake because I think Deathblade is equally as flexible. But that's the idea there. If I'm making IE, I'm committing to not buying the Vayne. Anyways. Bronze for life, I don't think like unless I cook up a board, I don't think it's easy to play around. So, and it's not worth it a lot of the time. So it's not bronze for life. Lucky gloves make sense in terms of me making my board stronger right now. The problem is that I already used a glove and I'm not going to get 2 gloves and then it's just like not very high cap. Trifecta, obviously, if I was playing 3 cost, like this would be like if I were playing around Vayne, like I slammed Deathblade, I had Vayne. Trifecta would make sense here. Hold the line, also quite good. I think it's also good in Ionia as well. It's just that I don't like it that much because sometimes I want to like sometimes I just don't have enough front line in some of those comps, especially if you cap around some of the high cost units. So I don't know. Hold the line does give a lot of stats, but I am eyeballing this Prismatic Destiny. Econ is the most important thing when you're getting contested. If somebody is playing the same comp as you and you can roll more gold earlier than them, right? Like let's say you start rolling a turn earlier, like they want to 4-2 it, you 4-1 it. If you roll before the other players with more gold, you are basically rolling uncontested, right? Because they haven't started rolling yet. Now, you can still get unlucky, right? But that would just be an unlucky game, right? If you roll a bunch of gold and you hit nothing and you have more gold than them, that's like the main thing because it decreases the variance, right? If I have 1,000 gold and I have a turn and I roll a turn before the other person that doesn't have 1,000 gold, I'll just send it to 0 and I'll just upgrade my units and then I have my upgrades and they don't and I don't give a shit, right? That's kind of how the game works. So I see Prismatic Destiny. I know that I'm at least 1 way guaranteed contested just based on the positioning and the items and stuff like that. And there's 2 other players that are kind of like floating, but I'm not sure if they're fully contesting, but I do expect to be at least 3-way contested. That's usually what happens with Yunara when it's gold Ionia. Just multiple people try and play around it because it's really stable and it's really strong and it's unconditional. And then a lot of times it's just like you play around Yunara and whoever has the better spot tries to fast 9. And if you can't fast 9, you roll on level 8. And then it's like you either try and stabilize on level 8 and play for a 4th, or you go to level 9, try and find the 5 cost, or you just high roll and then you just win anyways. So here I take Prismatic Destiny. I could get screwed over by what it gives me, but the way that I see it is that I'm still floating the idea of fast 9 or playing around other units and options because it is a multiple way Ionia contest. So instead of like, you know, subjecting myself to specifically a certain board, I decided to just take Prismatic Destiny, 10 gold, and we'll see what we hit, right? It might change the decision. As you can see, that's a lot of gold. I got Tiniest Titan. Now, Tiniest Titan, let's be clear, this is not what I really wanted, but it is a lot of gold. So Tiniest Titan gives me like an extra X amount of gold. I forget, I think it's 15 or something, or 20 or something. Plus it gives me 2 gold per round. And Prismatic Destiny gave me 10, right? This one gives me 15. So I just got like an influx of like 20 or 30 gold. I am rich as fuck now. I am in the commanding spot for the comp, and I am very clearly richer than everybody else. So my goal right now is to get to level 8 so early that I don't have to worry about any of the chuckle fucks in this lobby. Now, the problem is that if you look at my augments, my first augment and my second augment are essentially nothing. They are just gold. So if I do not make it to a high cap level 9 board or something crazy, I am not going to go top 1. I am going to go bot 4 very easily because I have no combat, right? If everybody else hits their board and it is gold Ionia and gold subscription, then they will all be able to outcap me. So I don't want to drop too low on HP trying to go level 9, because if they high roll and hit their units anyways and make it to level 9 a little bit later than me, they will outcap me anyways. So it's really an awkward conundrum here, because you can look at it and you can be like, you're rich, you're in a fast 9, I'm level 8 this turn if I wanted to. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that mentality I just told you guys about. I scout around and I see how many people are playing Yunara. And then I also see how many Yunaras are there, right? Nobody has any Yunaras. Nobody has an insane Yunara spot. I have 2 Yunara items. I can just roll before everybody else. And if I hit Yunara, I hit Yunara. If I don't, I don't. But I can be level 8 next turn with a decent amount of gold to roll. Or in like 2 turns from now, right? The idea is that I'm just going to wait until I have 50 plus gold to roll, because that's statistically a good number just by rule of thumb. And then I'm going to just send it. I'm just going to send it on level 8. And then with Tiniest Titan, I'm going to recover HP and earn gold to such a point that I either top 4 or I make it to 9. I can cap my board, and then maybe I can get better than 4. That's my idea. Anyways, get fucked over by Tryndamere. That's matchmaking RNG, because fucking Tryndamere is broken, whatever. Thank God there's not a TX player in the lobby, because if there was a TX player in the lobby, then this game was fucked. But that's how most of the games are right now. So it is what it is. What can you do? But anyways, I'm at 87 HP. I'm earning 2 HP per turn. I have 2 Yunara items. I just need to find the last Yunara item, which I have an open sword. It's fine. You don't need Gwinsu on her, but ideally it would be great. And then I'm going to do another scout check just to see what everybody's playing. The Darkened Bow guy, I thought he was going to play Flex, but it turns out he just looks like he's playing Yunara as well, so that's a little bit stressful. There is a Void player in the lobby, so with Prismatics, if that Void player makes it to level 10, that's also an issue. But anyways, the idea here, I'm just going to take a component that can work for Yunara. I take this just in case I can make a Gwinsu. But either way, I can make a frontline item, or I can make a, in the worst case, a Gunblade. It's also a 4 cost. But anyways, we look here, right? It is how much gold to level? It's around like 30-ish gold to level. I'm going to make one more turn of econ, and I'm either going to decide to roll on neutral round, or I'm going to roll on the next round, basically. So I'm just going to chill. Right, 30 gold to roll isn't that great, but if I wait one turn, I should have like 40 to 50 gold to roll, and that'll be fine. So I'm going to pre-level. I'll probably do an off-tempo level here. If you want to be really precise, I can roll on neutral round, and that's a good interval to level, because then it takes the exact amount of 4 XP. But either way, it's fine. See, like, I think this guy, I didn't think was playing Yunara, but now it looks like he's playing Yunara. Anyways, I know for sure I'm at least 1 or 2 way contested. And that's just like normal with this type of setup. So we lose this round, and then we're going to send it. We're going to send it down, and we're going to try our best. I think when I saw at the beginning of the game, I don't remember if it was this game or not this game, because I don't remember exactly what I was thinking, because obviously it was like earlier. But whenever I see a lot of Gwinsu slams and not Kraken slams, I think I saw a lot of Gwinsu slams. A lot of times that can mean that it's Diana. So that's why I was stressed about playing Diana, by the way. Because I have been in lobbies where I look at the lobbies and I think they're all going to play Yunara. And then they find one copy of Leona and they instantly just start, like, you know, pivoting in. Anyways, I'm going to roll here. I'm going to try and gather as many 4 costs as I can. I'm Yunara paired, so I'm just going to send it to 0. Bang, Yunara 2. You know why? Because I'm uncontested. Now, is that high roll? Yes, it obviously is high roll. But I get 2 gold per turn, so I was going to roll to 0. I was going to roll until I had Yunara and Wukong. 1 copy of each, because that's enough, right? That's enough to stabilize usually. So I was going to roll for 1 Yunara and 1 Wukong. But then I hit 2 Yunaras. Because I have 2 Yunaras, I keep rolling, because I'm paired now. I'm paired on those units. I'm paired on units on my bench. I'm just going to send it, because I still don't have Wukong. I'm just going to roll for that. Now, one thing that I didn't do on this roll down, I think we should look at it one more time, because I don't think this was a good roll down. So I should be holding Braum. We're looking for a quick striker. I didn't hold any quick strikers, but I don't know if I missed them, so we're actually just gonna pause so that I can criticize myself. Now I'm holding the Frel Lords, but I don't have items for them. There we go. I missed Ashe. This is a mistake here. Now, did I miss her on purpose? I did. I bought the there we go. So what happened is I thought I was buying the Ashe here for sure, because I was like, I don't think I usually don't miss the quick strikers on these roll downs, but I think green Yasuo, green Ashe. In my head, I was like, I'll click the Yasuo. But I don't need to buy Yasuo, obviously. It's just in the team planner because I team planner all the Ionias. But that's my bad. I should team planner the quick strikers because it just threw me off. But I think here I want to click Ashe, but then I just clicked the one that had the team planner symbol. But anyways, that was a quick striker I missed. Quick striker is really important on Yunara, especially because I don't have an attack speed item. I don't have a Gwinsu. So that's really important. And then I move my items. Anyways, I just wanted to relook at that just to point out that was the big mistake. Holding Braum is good. I think I sold a couple of them, but Braum you can fit in as a tank. Tarek obviously fits in as a tank. But now look at this, right? 3-6, and I have Yunara 2. Now, obviously, you might look at this and be like, well, shouldn't you just roll later? You can roll even more gold. Shouldn't you have gone level 9? Level 9 is really inconsistent, because even from that spot, you can imagine now, if I have to go 60 more gold to level, that requires me to sack another 3 to 4 turns. By that point, all the Yunaras are gone, all the other boards are gone, and I probably am just dead anyways, right? Especially if they high roll. A lot of times when Yunara players roll down on level 8, sometimes they just find Kindreds and Sennas anyways, then I don't have a level 9 carry, and it's just fucked. The game is just fucked, right? Me rolling now, like I said, I wouldn't roll as deep if I didn't have the Yunara pair, but also you have to understand, I don't have a very high cap, right? I only have gold as my prismatic and gold as my first gold augment, so it's very hard for me to reach a high cap. So I need to make sure that I win these rounds and I'm strong earlier than everybody else, because I will probably I will otherwise bot 4 if I lose too many rounds in a row. Even from this point onwards, like this point right now, I'm not particularly stable. I know Yunara 2 is broken, but I don't have 3 items on her, and my front line still isn't fully stable yet. I haven't fully pivoted, and I don't have Quick Striker. As you can see, I'm gonna have trouble killing this Loris. I don't have Shred Sunder, I don't have Anti-Heal. This Loris isn't gonna die. I'm actually gonna lose this round right now, even though I have a Yunara 2 against this guy's level 7 board. But that's fine, right? This is expected. Right, it was also a positioning mistake. I think if it was on the opposite side, it would have been better. But I just need more attacks beyond Yunara. That's basically it. I also need to fix my board a little bit. I probably have to still roll for a Quick Striker, and I need to probably roll for a better frontline unit. I probably shouldn't have sold Braum, by the way. Like I said, I could have played him, and I probably skipped Tarek on that roll down. But it is what it is. And now I'm going to unlock Set, because Set's just a better... I think I know what I do this game. I think I want to unlock Set, and then I forget to unlock Set. But anyways, I buy this extra Yunara. We're going to talk about this in a second. Just remember that I have a Yunara on my bench. Watch. I'm trying to see if I can play Tarek over somebody. And then I'm still rolling. I don't know why. I should just probably stop at this point. But I'm just trying to gather copies of Wukong before all the Wukongs are gone. Because I think it's a 4-way contest. That's what I realize. And as I get a Guinsoo, did I unlock Set? I think one game I played today, I forgot that I was trying to unlock Set. So I positioned for Set, and then I instantly moved my units around to like deposition for Set. But anyways, we unlock Set. I should buy Braum. I don't know why I wasn't buying Braum originally. It kind of stresses me out. I don't think I should make Ari2. Yeah, because I'm going to play Set in place of Ari. Now I'm Wukong paired, right? So now I'm Wukong paired, I'm just 0 every turn. I'm 0 every turn until I Wukong 2, Yunara 2. And then we're just going to like let it rock. And there we go. Now we hit Wukong 2. That's why you roll really aggressively. Also, maybe I shouldn't... yeah, this is fine. And then Tarek over... Yeah, there we go. Right? Tarek over Ari, more frontline. Wukong 2. I make a Wukong item. I could greed to try and get Shred Sunder Anti-Heal. But I think it's better just to have 2 items on the Wukong. And that's fine. I have Open Sword. And now we should be relatively stable. But this is the idea, right? You have more gold and you roll earlier than everybody else. There's some person who's sitting here trying to roll on 4-2. It is what it is, right? You roll deep. And I'd rather roll here than roll on level 9. Because like I said, level 9, with these types of augments, I'm not going to have combat. So there's a good chance I'm going to lose anyways. Look at this guy. This guy is Void and he has win out. So we already know somebody's going to win the game, and that's going to be this guy, because he hit the fucking broken shit where he's going to go instantly level 10 and unlock Baron, because I don't know why they added this to the game. But, you know, I digress. You know, whatever. That's part of the game. Yippee. It's really fun and exciting. But like, whatever, right? Besides that, who cares? Winning these rounds is really critical. Now, let's talk a little bit about griefing other players. I said I would talk about that a lot. You're going to notice that I have a Yunara on my bench. Now, why do I have a Yunara on my bench? Because 2 things. Number 1, this is costing me econ. Whenever you hold a unit on your bench, you do not necessarily want to do that. If I sell this Yunara right now, I could make 20 gold. And if I make 20 gold, that makes it easier for me to get to level 9. It allows me to cap more easily. It allows me to cap higher. Being able to cap higher is something that's really important. It's something you just need to do. Also, I should pause for a second. Let's do augments right now. So, Unseal from Steel, I could take a Darkened Bow. It's really good on Yunara. But I have 3 Yunara items already, so I don't feel like taking that. I would rather take some sort of combat augment that helps out my board. Jeweled Lotus is also really good, just for the crit strike. But I made IE already, so I think it's fine. So I'd rather just take last second save and just make sure my front line stays alive a little bit longer. Here, you notice I rolled a little bit. I was just rolling for Quick Striker. I just still missed the Quick Striker. Probably on my second roll down, I probably missed it as well. Just panic because I was trying to find the Wukong 2 really fast. Anyways, why am I holding this Yunara? When you grief players in the game, there's only a certain amount of units in the pool. There are some players where you just grief anybody. It's like, oh, I can grief somebody, I'll just do it. There's other players that's like, oh, that person's playing the meta comp, I'll just grief that meta player, right? Then there's other players that are like strategic in how they grief. Listen, if you just grief somebody for no reason, you are a moron, and that is not a good thing to do, right? Just genuinely, that's just stupid. Anyways, look at this guy. He hit reinforcement, so he also has a Yunara too. Isn't that lucky? Anyways, I don't have Shred, Sunder, or Anti-Heal, so I still can't kill the Loris. So, you know, let's just laugh at me losing another round, even though I have a fully upgraded board. But that's how it is, right? You just don't have combat. Anyways, when you're griefing somebody, you want to grief the people that are competing for your placements, right? If you're win streaking and you're playing for first, you do not want to grief somebody who is going 8th. That does not help you, because if you grief the player that is doing poorly, they will just do worse and it won't improve your positioning. By me holding this Yunara, I am sacking my own interest. I am losing 1 gold. This Yunara is not costing me 4 gold on my bench. It has already costed me 2 gold of interest, which stockpiles. That's 1 gold, that makes 2, that makes 3, that makes 4, that makes 5. This Yunara is costing me like upwards of, you know, technically if we're trying to optimize, it's like 6 gold a round, right? Because it was like 20 gold when I started holding her. So this Yunara is costing me at minimum 6 gold in addition to the 4 gold that it cost to buy her. So like 10 gold total is what I would estimate is what she costed me so far. That hurts my max cap. That hurts my ability to make it to level 9, because if I had 10 extra gold, I'd be making 50, and then that's +1, +1. Like, you know, it's like an exponential increase in the amount of gold that you're generating. So it's really, really, really important to be specific when you're griefing somebody. Now, if you're griefing somebody, let's say I'm playing for 8th, and there's somebody that's going 7th. You want to grief the person going 7th, because if they go 8th, that increases your placement. Now you went 7th, you saved LP. Same reason, if you're going 5th and there's another guy going 4th, you want to grief the player going 4th. You don't want to grief the player in number 1 spot, because it doesn't fucking matter. They're still going to outplace you. You want to grief the person that is like competing for your placement. Because if I am fighting against the player that's going 4th, now if I grief them and I make their spot slightly worse, let's say I hold on to some of the units they need, I hold on to some of their upgrades, then they will lose a couple extra rounds, and if there's bad matchmaking, I can easily outplace them. That's a strategic play. That is acceptable. If somebody does that to me, I'm happy. That's fine. It's like, hey, you know what? That's a good player. That's part of the game. That's something you have to do. You can choose not to do it. Some people do that. You know, it's kind of like in Melee. You know, when you would play friendlies in Melee, sometimes we wouldn't do ledge grabs and stuff, right? You let the person back on the stage. Like, you know, you can be a homie or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? At this Elo or whatever you're playing, if you're playing seriously, it's like, it's expected. It's not something you get upset about. The other thing that holding Yunara does, the reason that in this case, right, who am I griefing? There's 4 other players playing Yunara. There's one other player that hit Yunara too, but there's 2 other players that are playing Yunara. And both of them have better combat than I do. Meaning that if they hit Yunara 2, like this guy for example, if this guy hits Yunara 2, he has a chance of winning out, because he has the Rage Blade augment, which gives him 40 extra gold. So he will likely have equal to, if not more gold than me, if he outlives 2 players. Additionally, he has a Radiant item on his Yunara, so his Yunara will hit harder than mine if he hits Yunara 2. Same thing with the other player. If there are multiple players in your lobby playing the same comp, in this case there are 4 Yunara players, holding this one Yunara is not griefing 1 player, it is griefing 4 players. Now technically it's only griefing 2 players, because there's me and the other guy that both hit the Yunara 2, so we don't care about the extra Yunaras. But it's griefing at least 2 players. And both those players can outcap me pretty easily, because they have way better combat than me. Additionally, I don't really have a win condition. If you didn't notice on the side of the screen, Easter egg, you can go look back in the video and see if you can spot when it happened. But the Void player has a Baron 2. We're not scouting him because I'm not fighting him yet. I don't really care. But there's a Baron 2 right now. That player is going to win the lobby anyways. What's going to dictate the outcome of this game is matchmaking a lot of the times. I'm probably going to lose to Tryndamere, and I'm probably going to lose to the Void player. So if I make sure that other players don't hit the Yunara on time, it increases the odds of me top 4ing. So this is a good grief, not because I'm just griefing for the fun of it, it's because it's griefing multiple players in one simple move. So it's worth a lot more to grief those players. Lastly, I have Tiniest Titan. So if I can grief the players and outlive everybody, that is basically the only win condition I have against Void, right? I don't have a T-Hex. I don't have a crazy combat augment. I don't have a crazy way of dealing with the Void. Even if I have a set 2, I have full legendaries, I'm not going to beat the Baron 2. The guy already has Baron 2. If he had Baron 1, there's a chance I can maybe like scam around. He has Baron 2 already. He's just capping his board as high as he possibly can. The guy won the game. He's level 10, Baron 2, just sitting here playing with himself. I don't know what he's doing. There's nothing left to do in the game. You know what I mean? So for me, what I am looking at here is the only way I can get a first this game, because I have a lot of HP, because obviously I hit the Yunara too early and I hit everything, is that I can outlive all the Yunara players, and then I can roll for Yunara 3. Because with Tiniest Titan, I'm getting 2 gold per turn. I should be still decently rich on level 9, and it's gold Ionia, so I should have enough gold from gold Ionia, such that I will be able to hit a Yunara 3 ideally. That's the win condition I'm holding on to. So I'm going to start pivoting my board into like a full legendary board to make my board as strong as possible, because I'm level 9 right now. So I sell some of the trash Ionias. We drop down to 5. This is a common one. I just put in the team planner because it helps me out a little bit, because like, you know, it's more of a stressful game. If it's more of like a chill game, like I'm not as contested on the units, I can kind of like play around a little bit more. But I have Sundering, I have Shred, I have Sundering, I have Anti-Heal, so I'm in a good spot here. And I'm just fighting some ragtag boards. This guy, I think, is level 9 trying to pivot his board, but didn't quite finish pivoting yet. So that's good for me. And we're just going to do some damage here, and we're just going to try our best. But basically, the intention here is that me holding Yunara, that's what I'm trying to justify, right? You see, I have a reason for doing it. In your games, if you have a reason for griefing, then it's a good play. Strategically, me holding Yunara puts multiple players in the lobby in a worse position than me when they're competing for a similar board, which is important. And it also holds on to my only win condition. So because of both of those reasons together is why holding Yunara makes sense, and why griefing my own econ makes sense. If I don't have both of those reasons, if I was only griefing one person that's going 8th, then I don't care, because the matchmaking will be such that they will eventually fight the Void player and they will eventually lose, right? So I don't have to hold on to this Yunara. Like at this point, a lot of Yunara players hit Yunara 2 already. I can sell the Yunara, right? But the reason I'm still holding on to it is because I'm holding on to that glimmer of hope that if everybody dies, I can maybe hit Yunara 3. And then that's about the only way I beat the Void player, because I do not have the augments or the board or the capabilities to do so otherwise. I can maybe go for a 3-star something else, but basically like it's too hard to do that. I might as well just hold for Yunara because I have the items for her, right? I don't think a 3-star randomly without good items will work. Like, you know, I don't think I can make a Braum 3. Maybe I can because I have tank items, but you know what I mean? I can't make like a Lux 3 and put the no Lux items on the Lux and hope that she kills stuff. But here I'm rolling because I'm paired on units. I'm paired on both Senna and I'm paired on the other guy. Anyways, what I think both the other Yunara players that I was griefing died, and now I have 6 Yunaras. So all I need is for the one other Yunara player to die, and I can maybe hit Yunara 3. Isn't that crazy? This is what I was saying. This is the only, like I said, I want to make it very clear. It's not for toxic reasons. It's not for things. This is what I consider to be the best strategic decision in this spot. It's unfortunate that it ruins other players' experiences, because I like to make the world a better place and hopefully have other players' experiences be good. But it's part of the strategy, right? If in chess there was a griefing aspect of it, it would be common there too, right? In, like, you know, card games is a common thing as well, right? It's just part of the game. So it's unfortunate, but I have to use what I have, which is my exuberant amount of gold. But anyways, because I made it to 9 and I capped my board a little bit better, I was able to beat this guy. This guy should be stronger than me. I just don't think he has enough chutzpah on his board to deal with me, because his Yunara should hit harder than mine. But also, part of it is that because I hit this Yunara so early and I have a lot of HP from win streaking, I'm also outstatting some of the other Ionia players, because because every gold that I generate from those takedowns, I get bonus stats on. So there's also that condition. It's just not enough to beat the Baron, in my opinion. Here I just take IE. In my head, I'm just like, I'll just put on Set, right? Set usually want like JG, but like if he crits, he crits, right? He does true damage. Like, who the fuck cares? So I'm just gonna put it on him. I have Set 2 now, so I'm gonna try and build for Set 2 with triple items, because that's gonna be my third carry basically. Here, this isn't technically optimal, but multiple items stack really well. So Morello gives AP, it gives some HP. It applies anti-heal, so it's really good on Senna because she hits whole board, or it's good on Fiddlesticks. But at this point, because I have Set 2, I just put on Set. And the idea is that Set you know, he's not going to apply the anti-heal as well, but when he dive bombs a unit, he'll apply it. So that's nice, I guess. But 2 items on a unit, I think is just a little bit better. Because the Senna one, I don't have faith in being super crazy strong. But anyways, we have a pretty reliable front line. I'm just scouting to see when the Yunara player dies, because then I can roll a little bit more aggressively. I want to ideally hit Senna 2, Fiddlesticks 2, but at this point, I feel like I'm relatively comfortable with the Set 2 in terms of my strength, because I've been beating players with combat augments that I think I should be fine to chill a couple rounds, especially with 60 HP. So we'll wait a second or two. Anyways, I'm looking at my gold earned, right? As you can see, I have 50 bonus stats, 50 extra AD and AP on my whole board, so that's great. And now we're just chilling. We're just waiting to see if we can hit Yunara 3, and that's our win condition. But anyways, hopefully that made sense. Like I said, if you have a reason for griefing, usually it revolves around, I'm competing with this guy for placements, and you grief the person next to you, right? So right now, I'm playing for first. If I really wanted to, I can start holding void units and grief the void player. I can't really grief the void player because they're all unlocks, but if they were playing a comp, like let's say they were playing Azir or something, then I would hold this Azir to make sure that they don't hit Azir too. If they were playing I don't know, give me a random unit. They're playing Shyvana, right? And they had 3 items on Shyvana. I would hold a Shyvana to make sure that they don't hit their Shyvana because I'm playing for first with them, right? They're playing Void, so I can't really grief them. I can grief the guy in third place just in case he beats me. But, you know, it is what it is. This guy, for example, look how much stronger he is. This is what I was saying before, right? I'm not going to outcap if other players reach the high cap. This guy, I think, was trying to play Yunara, if I'm not mistaken. And he didn't hit any Yunaras, but eventually he made it to Kindred. This is what I was saying before. You can play for Kindred. Now, if I had a Kindred 2, and this guy's a Kindred 2, he's still going to beat me, because he has Mess Hall, right? He has Mess Hall, and he has Combat. I only have Econ. Mess Hall is a lot better than Last Second Save, and he has, like, the extra Lucky Gloves to give, like, the rest of his team extra units, or extra stuff. Now, is this player going to beat the Void player? Probably not. I don't think that board is capable of beating Void, because, you know, it is what it is. That's what Void is. But now, all the other Yunara player died, so I'm going to be rolling for Yunara 3. And I'm going to roll as early as possible, right? You can argue that, oh, you should econ up a little bit. It's like, no. As soon as that player is dead, if these are good players, they will start rolling for Yunara to make sure that I don't hit Yunara 3. So I have to roll instantly. Every single turn, it's 0 every single turn now. 0 every single turn looking for this Yunara. That guy, I think, already found a Yunara. Look, he's already holding Yunara on bench. Do you see it? Because he's a good player. Before I even started rolling, he saw that I had 6 Yunaras, and he's like, nah, fuck that. And he started holding Yunara on bench. Now, arguably, he's doing something else that's kind of dumb. He's only a bunch of I guess it doesn't matter because it's not changing my pool size. Never mind. He's fine. He's holding Kai'Sa's, but Kai'Sa is an unlock, so it doesn't affect my shops because it's not. I didn't unlock Kai'Sa, so he's basically going for Kai'Sa 3, and as he was going for Kai'Sa 3, he found a Yunara. There's 1 Yunara left, but I'm basically gonna roll to 0 every single turn here. I don't have items for Senna, by the way, so I'm probably just gonna sell these Sennas at one point. So I can roll a little bit more. Because basically, if I can find this last Yunara, that's my win condition. So as you can see, I sell Senna. Senna 2 won't make a difference. I'm still going to lose to the Void player. I have enough HP here that I'm guaranteed second place, right? That was the whole thing. We played the game as well as we could. We guaranteed second place because the other guy is going to be dead in a turn to Void anyways, right? This guy, he hit 10 Void on stage 4. The Augment's not balanced. What do you want me to tell you? You got win out. There's nothing you can do. Right, look at this. Is it close? Do you think we're gonna win? The Baron is full HP. Like, he's not even fucking close to dead. Like, you know what I mean? But anyways, the other player dies. He dies to clone. And we are just gonna roll for this Yunara now. Because it's like 1 or 2 fights left, I can just sell. And GG. Now, obviously, this is really high roll. But I am level 9, but it is still high roll, right? But let's not pretend that this isn't a high roll situation that I have all of these Yunaras. I'm not saying I deserve this. I'm saying I just played towards the 1 out, right? I was okay with a second this game. To be perfectly honest, I was okay with a 3rd or a 4th if we want to be for real with everybody. Like, if I got 4th this game, I would've been like, yeah, that's fine. Because, like, my Prismatic Destiny didn't give me a combat. It gave me, like, a bunch of thing. I'm 4-way contested. If I didn't hit the Yunaras early and I never hit Yunara, then I just have a bunch of econ augments. I'd be stuck on level 8 rolling for Yunara. I'd be dead. I'm okay with a 4th here, right? Like, you know what I mean? I'd be happy. I think I deserve the top 4, but, you know, ideally, even a 4th is fine. But play towards your outs, right? I held the Yunaras for this reason. Now, do I hold the Yunaras like this every single game? No. Because in other games, this is a stretch goal, right? The reason this is the only way I win is because there's a Void player. If there wasn't a Void player, it would have been better for me to ideally sell the Yunaras, right? And then buy 5 cost. Because if I had Senna 2, if I was level 10 with Senna 2, Fiddlesticks 2, Shyvana 2, right? Like, if I had more legendaries, that's another win condition, right? You saw the other player's board, right? The other player had a bunch of legendaries, and they were really strong. Because, like, a lot of times, when you hold all of these units, this isn't something that happens normally. It's something that's a little bit hard to do, because you need to high roll, right? The odds of me finding this last Yunara aren't so substantial that this is a guaranteed thing to happen. A lot of times, you can roll twice as much gold as me and not hit the Yunara 3. But it's just like, at this point, it's the only out against Void. That's why I went for this, right? Because it's like, if I upgrade everybody on my board, if I fucking have a Senna 2, is that going to change the Baron fight? Fuck no. But anyways, let's watch Yunara 3 ream this guy for like the next 10 seconds, I guess. Here I was just deciding on who to buy, because I was trying to figure out, but it's just this guy, because you don't want to wait a turn. I can greed a, like, you don't greed a turn for Senna, you know what I mean? You either win with Yunara 3 this turn or you don't. So I sell Senna, get that, I put these units here, and GG. Like, what can you do? That's the game. This guy, I think he sold his Kaisas looking for the Yunara. That's fine. I took as long as I could to buy the Yunara okay, here's another tip, by the way. We'll replay the fight. You see here? This isn't because I'm, like, fucking dumb as bricks, by the way. Partially, you might argue that it is. But you see here, when I start rolling, like, I take a little bit of time. Not here, sorry, a little bit forward. This is another tip for you guys. So you see at this point, he's holding a bunch of Barons and a bunch of Kaisas, right? He has to make a decision if he goes for Kaisa 3 or if he has to roll to find the last Yunara. Because I'm 1 off. So now he can't really go for Kaisa 3. He has to make a decision. He either lets me hit Yunara 3 and holds on to the Kaisas, or he sells the Kaisas and starts rolling to find the last Yunara. Because as I'm rolling, he can also be rolling, right? So here, obviously I have to sell something. I can sell the Kindred, I can sell like whatever. Kindred probably not, but you know, I can sell one of the Ionians, or I can sell Senna, or I can sell Fiddlesticks. If I didn't hit Yunara this turn, by the way, I would sell Fiddlesticks, and then I would sell Senna, because Fiddlesticks is another 15 gold. I can roll 10 more times, right? So, you know, these units, as good as they are, they don't matter at this point. What I do is I wait a while here, right? Do you see how long I wait? Not like a while, but like a decent amount, right? This isn't like because I'm stupid. It's not like, buy the Yunara. Why aren't you buying the Yunara? You know why I'm not buying it? Because the other player doesn't know that I hit Yunara 3 yet. So he can sell his Kaisas, right? What if he sells, like, I'm not going to wait till the last second, by the way, because I don't trust the game, like, if it bugs out or some shit. So I'm obviously going to buy it with time to spare. But I'm going to give it an honest fucking wait a little bit of time. Because look, you see what happened? He sold his Kaisas. Do you see how he sold his Kaisas? Look at his board. Where are the Kaisas? He sold the Kaisas. You know why he sold the Kaisas? Because he was rolling for Yunara to make sure I didn't hit. That's why you wait a little bit. Because, like, I don't want him to, like, chill out, because if I buy the Yunara instantly, then he could just sit there and hold on to the Kaisas and then maybe go for Kaisa 3. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that I win. So this guy, you know, he sold the Kaisas to look for the Yunara, and then I win. Like, it's a little bit of a grimy, I guess that's a little bit grimy. It's a bit ratty, but, like, you should never buy it instantly. You should always make them sweat a little bit. Because, like, you know, if I buy the Yunara instantly and he holds on to his Kaisas, who's to say that next turn he doesn't high roll and hit Kaisa 3? I can't even deny the Kaisa 3. Also, I was considering denying the Kaisa 3. Something you can do, because Kaisa has an unlock, is if you just find a thing, you can just put 3 items on a long shot and unlock the Kaisa. But anyways, it's a first. Also, I said I would play it uninterrupted. Sorry, I keep pausing because I'm yapping. Okay, last time. Here, for the players that really want to see it, I'll just do it uninterrupted, and then we'll end the video. We'll end the video right after. Anyways, hopefully that explained some concepts or some things to you guys in a way that made sense. Or at least the way that I approach the game. I usually make a guide on greifing on the main channel. I probably will at one point. It's just not super high priority because it never does well and nobody ever cares. They kind of have their own mentalities of just, like, you know, like I said, there's people that just, like, grief everybody all the time, whoever they can. There's people that select specific people to grief because they like, oh, that person's playing a meta comp, I'll just grief them. Rah. It's like you should always grief if strategically is your best play and it's your best use of gold. And I strongly think that this game this was my best use of gold. Right? It was my best use to make my max cap. Because obviously, me doing all of this decision is what led me to this first. Anyways, rip that guy. He's not going to make it into TFT 2. Anyways, see ya. Bye-bye.